Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So today we're going to be painting another Christmas card tutorial. But this is super duper easy, right? And any skill level can do this. And it could be advanced to beginner depending on how you paint your elements, right? We're going to be using one color, gold metallic paint or gold metallic ink on black craft paper to make these beautiful, elegant Christmas cards. These take no time at all. These guys are so easy to do. So easy to do. I think I created this one in less than, I don't know, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And then this one was probably the easiest one. I'll show you how we do this one. We tape off the paper and then we just paint in the elements. And then this one gets a little more advanced, painting in, twigs and poinsettias and all that nonsense. So don't freak out. Anybody can do this, but it looks so great, looks so elegant. Your friends will be super impressed, right? And they'll think, what, you painted this? Are you kidding me? If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. And let me know if you love playing metallic paints. I love playing with metallic paints. And I give you ideas if you didn't have metallic paint, what to do with the cards instead. Also check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials that are not on YouTube. A lot of them are longer in length and more advanced on my Patreon. And then I have a live stream once a month on the top tier. It's just a place people go and support my channel, which I appreciate so much. There's a little blurb that comes up in a second. You can check it out. So without further ado, let's get painting some super easy, elegant Christmas cards. All right, everyone, let me go over my supplies. I just have 3 pieces of craft black pieces of paper. You can fold it to any size you like for a card, 5x7. This is like 4.5x6, something like that. Actually, I think it's 4x5. Make whatever card size you want to make for your envelopes. So you bought the envelopes first, whatever. You can get black construction paper, any craft store, even like a CVS or pharmacy. I'll be using my Princeton 8 long round for the only brush. And I can experiment with gold watercolor paint. This is the Holbein, or like gold acrylic ink, which is nice. Has a nice little viscosity to it. Hey, you can even use gold pens. This is like a cheap one I picked up at the dollar store, maybe for writing, like, names or whatever. So I thought this would be a fun, simple, easy card to make. And you can practice some brush strokes with this one. So we'll do 3 simple cards. And so the first one I would do like a wreath. And so just for a wreath, you can draw a circle, but just grab an object. I have this matte. By the way, this is the matte finish you would use for, there's Winsor Newton, there's a couple other ones. People were asking me the other day about spraying your watercolors. I would spray only matte. I wouldn't spray using a shiny varnish. And if you wanted to spray like the watercolor cards, if you're doing postcards, do something like this so it doesn't bleed. That works best. So I'm going to use this can, and I'm just going to mark out with just a 2H pencil a nice round circle. Now, if we're going to do a wreath, we could do it either in the center, we could do up, we could do down, maybe do up a little more, right? Closer to the top. So you can write words in the bottom. You can write Merry Christmas on the bottom. And if you didn't do a wreath, you could do, a Christmas ornament, right? So I'm going to play around with both of these. Here's the ink. I like these inks. They're really nice. This one's kind of like thick because it's been used a lot. Hardly any left. There's some in there. And here's the watercolor paint that's gold. Let's see what the 2 of them look like. I got a little gold paint there. And I'll have my paper towel close by. Ta, 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 ta. So you see we have the wreath here, just a circle. I don't know if you can see the pencil mark, but picture it. And we'll take our ink or our watercolor paint. I'm going to use actually both together. See, the watercolor paints get really thick, kind of like wash, and you have to water it down a little bit with some water, of course, to move it around. You want to try and use less water if you can, because then it will shine better. But that's why I like the gold ink. So play around both of them. But if you have metallic paints, use I have metallic paints in other colors too. So you can start off just taking this brush. Let me zoom in a little bit. And let's do some simple kind of like strokes this way. See? Pointy. Or you could do it backwards. Going around the wreath. So you can move the card. You want to make it more rounded top, and then kind of pull in. You could do that. It's Monday, you can tell, right? So I'm using the ink. I'll show you one of the ones with more of the watercolor paint. The ink's fun to play with. Cleaning up my brush. I'm pushing down like in a rounded ball and then kind of pulling back. You can play with your strokes that way. Look how simple that was. And then you can go from there. Like you just do the initial kind of put the strokes in, and then you can go and add some more little lines and add berries. See, it gets a little more complicated as you go. Just simple little tiny little twiggy lines, and then add some little dotty berries around it. You want to kind of move around the wreath. This literally would take you 0 time. If you can paint little skinny lines and tap with little dots, you got these cute little berries going around your wreath. You just kind of keep moving it. Really, really simple. Creates a beautiful impact. Now, just don't think in terms of metallic when I'm giving you ideas right now for other kind of cards to make if you don't have metallic paint. Say you have red paper, paint a white wreath. And vice versa, you just have white paper, do this with green paint. But see how I just made the circle, and you go around, you're just kind of making little twigs and adding little dots at the end. And you can keep adding on little by little. You can add kind of like a leaf shape and kind of leave it open in the middle. See? Pointy. Leave it open. Changing the leaves. Going around. It's good to move your paper sometimes. This brush, actually, I should probably have a smaller, tinier brush. But you can paint little holly leaves. But literally, this is taking me 2 minutes. I'm not kidding you. Great for if you wanted to make place cards or gift tags. Look at that. Wah. Go and put little dots. I like a little stragglers kind of coming out. More twiggy, as I would say. And there's a simple wreath. Took me like 5 seconds, right? And then you can write, or you could do like a little bow or something. You can even have it hanging. Just put a little line coming down here, connecting the wreath. You could put like a little bow. Just paint a little bow, and there's the wreath, right? And then you just write Merry Christmas. Now you might want to pencil it in first. I would do Merry, small letters here, and Christmas. This is where the gold pen comes in handy. By the way, you can write in that white too. You don't have to keep it all in gold. You can make it a variety. This pen, it might not be as thin as I like. I'll test it out. Yeah, it's not as thin as I like, but it will do the job. The cheat. So this is a little cheat, by the way. So you write with the pen. You can go back in with that paintbrush and play around with the gold again. Add little curly cues, little stems. See? Play around with it. My gold pen on this paper just didn't do well, so I'm going to go back over the lettering. But if you find a nice gold metallic pen, this one was a sheepy one and just didn't work well on this paper. Yeah. And you could put like a little leaf kind of here with the berry. There you go. That's your first card. Super simple. That took no time at all. Let's play with a tree shape, right? So a triangle, again, take your pencil. Now another trick is a tape trick. I use Scotch Magic tape. I take the tape, you can't see it, but I basically tape it on my pants. And then I'll go like this. I'll just kind of figure out where I want the tree to go. Why I tape it on my pants and then lift it up, the fibers from the pants or clothes, whatever you're wearing, will go on the tape and it'll be less of a problem to lift it up. See? Make the tree shape. So it's kind of like masking out the tree. Let me see if my tree looks a little kind of funky. That's all right if it is a little off. And so now we'll just take our brush using the metallic paint. Let's try using the metallic watercolor on this one. By the way, you could just take this off right now and tape this off and just splatter gold metallic paint. Tape all of it off though, and then on that tree shape, and you'll have the cutest little, simple 5-second gold tree. Now we're going to play around with just doing some squirrels in the shape. This is the gold watercolor paint from Holbein. You can do some squirrely girls. Add a little star in here. You can add some hearts. You can add, again, branches too. But see, simple shapes don't make your life so complicated. It doesn't have to be. It's supposed to be fun, right? I go back and add some leaves. Make some open leaves with the paintbrush. More squirrely squirrels. Leaves, branches. Fill it all in with gold. Do little dots in between. So it's a little more maneuver. I think the gold ink maneuver is a lot easier than the paint, and it looks just as nice, either one. Now I know you guys can paint squirrels and little leaves, so you could totally do this. Don't tell me you can't. Branches, again. Super simple. Maybe just not thinking about things like this out of the box. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. See, I'm just adding little dots in between, just filling in the spaces. Dun, dun, dun. Just changing up. Maybe make it a little thicker here. You want to change up your little squirrels a little bit. That took like 0 time, right? Again, these are like 2-second trees. Now it's a little wet, but I'm going to lift it up anyway. See how the tape doesn't rip the paper? Because I did that technique. Look at that. Now mine's a little wonky because I didn't make my tree perfectly straight. But you get the idea, right? And then so for the bottom half, you could have done the same thing with the tape. I'm going to just pencil it in where the bottom trunk would be. Or you don't even have to do like a trunk shape. You can extend maybe this little tree branch here. Could go like here. See that? How cool is that? Put little squirrels here. Little stems. And I'll fix my wonky tree by adding in some more doodads this way. But isn't that fun? I think it was fun. You can put little stars out here. You can put some glitter on this. Number 2, pretty elegant. Okay. Again, we're doing these really quickly because you're lack for time. And then you could have done like a border. I don't know, maybe I didn't even think about this, but maybe you could have done a border here in gold. But we're trying to keep it simple, right? Now for here, take the tape scenario again. We're going to tape across the middle. I'm basically going to cut this in half. I'm taking 2 pieces. Okay. Just make sure this time it's not wonky. It looks a little wonky here. I want to be even. Leaning this way. I don't want it to lean. I want to make sure it's straight in the middle. Okay, good. Simple branches again. And you could add like poinsettia type leaves. I'm going to go back to the Liquidtex acrylic ink because it moves faster. See how much smoother that is? Smooth operator. So we can just do like these beautiful branches. It's kind of like going like this. Kind of what you do on top, you want to do kind of on the bottom. I'm going to make this a little bit skinnier. And we can add some leaves. Now leave the black in the center. Just like wiggle, wiggle. Fill it in except the black center. See what I mean? Go out here, wiggle, wiggle, like a jagged edge leaf. But then leave the center not touched. See that little black line? If you screw up, just paint black line. It's not a problem. So these little branches, we're going to make little leaves coming off that. Just like that. And we could put like a poinsettia kind of leaf, petals, I'm sorry. So just like leaves like this, little dots in the center. Play around with it. Like a flower. So in Christmas it would be a poinsettia. Again, I'm leaving the black in the center. Berries. Some berries up in here. Little stems. Again, some more leaves. That's the top half. You want to try and, you can try and mimic the bottom half. I'll make it a little bit different. I'm going to add some more berries over here. So I would just flip it. So maybe make the poinsettia a little different over here, kind of on the side. So here I'm making like almost like leaf shapes connecting in 4 or 5s. So let me put a couple poinsettias this time here. 1, 2. See? So we have, I like to do things in 3s. See how I make those simple leaf shapes? And then just fill it in, except leave that black line. This one's a little more advanced, but not really. So we're playing with metallic watercolor, metallic paint. Same brush techniques we use with watercolor. Just make sure you take good care of your brushes afterwards and make sure you wash them out thoroughly. And then lay them flat to dry. Please do not put them up on like this to dry because the water gets in the ferrule and then it ruins your brush. You want to lay them straight out like this to dry. Either flat on the table or flat on some kind of object or flat on. They have these water containers that have little ridges now you can put your paint brushes in. So now I'm going to add the branches. The bottom half is going to look a little different, so it's a little more sophisticated that way. Or you could mirror it. Adding some leaves, some branches, and little doodads for berries. See? Making the berries a little bit bigger. And some leaves. And then I'll flip it back around and see if I like it. Not bad. Sometimes you don't like things. And by the way, feel free to try and put some white in with it. You know, it doesn't have to be just old gold and black. You can try adding white as well, like little accents. So I'm just going to add little teeny dots. The tiny dots with the big dots. It's kind of pretty. Little branches. Just taking that gold paint and adding a bunch of little tiny dots. Just filling in some spaces here, the empty spaces. Kind of looks like it's sparkling. You can do the same idea with this metallic paint, painting snowflakes. So what I'm doing is doing a bunch of little dots here, gathered in with all my little items, and then doing a few little sporadic little ones out. So it's kind of like a burst. Does that make any sense? So they're bigger ones going towards the center, and little teeny ones kind of clustered. You see how I'm kind of clustering them? And then I just put a few kind of stragglers out into the sphere out here. It has that like burst energy look. Again, does this take any time at all? 0. And then we lift up the tape. I know mine's a little wet, so I'm going to be careful. And we have that beautiful space in between to write the words like Noel or Merry Christmas. Play around with what you want to put down first. I mean, obviously did Merry Christmas before. You know, you can write Happy Holidays or just write Noel. I think on this one I'll do Noel, and this one I will paint. So I penciled in my words Noel, and I'm going to paint them this time. Let's see how well I do with the paint. The trick to this kind of looking like a calligraphy, it's like this skinny line, then push down the bigger line. It takes a little practice. And there you go. Noel. So there we go. I have our little words. Did that take much time at all? 0. A lot of impact with 3 different types, right? And maybe on this one, I liked how I did the little dots on this one. I might go back into the tree and add a little few more stragglers, kind of like bursting out of the tree. It doesn't have to be in that total shape. Once you have that shape and you peel it up, you can kind of go outside of it. You have that shape that conformed the tree, and now you can try and play around with adding in some elements that go outside of that. So it looks a little more organic, but it helps you control the space. And I think I knew, you guys should know what I mean by that. I'm going in and adding some more dots. It looks a little ding, 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 ding. Like I said, you could have splattered a tree. Yeah, now it looks like it's having fun. And I think I'm leaving the wreath out in the cold and add a little more dots in this one. It's a little dot crazy. But then they all coordinate, don't they? Yep. And that's the beauty of it. So there you go. I mean, what did this take me? 3 cards, probably less than 10 minutes with each card. I mean, for all 3 cards. And what an impact. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. One thing to use, either this Liquidtex acrylic ink, or you could use the Watercolor gold ink. Oh, doodle with a gold metallic pen. But I think the brush is kind of fun. It helps you, again, playing with the strokes and all that, but it's just a one color kind of situation. So this was with the gold, and I added some of the gold acrylic ink. These were both acrylic ink. And I think, you know, judging by both of them, I think that either way works great. They both have that shiny gold. Maybe the ink is a little shinier, but, you know, what can I tell you? And I love how it came out. So let me know if you love this, if you hate this. You know, everything doesn't have to be totally about watercolor. This is a watercolor. Again, the same concept you can use with white gouache, right? Or just use this whole concept with one color green on white paper, which work just as great. It'd be pretty. Or even black on white paper. I mean, get creative with a little red, or you could do green with a little gold. You know, this is other things you can think about. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and take care. Oh, please don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.